yeah, is there anyone else like me? I have to ask myself this all the time. I guess this video is basically just looking for friends in a way. So I was told that I am unique, that I'm kind of interesting, like different than everyone else. I've even been told that I am better than most people. Like literally just straight up better than most people because of how much I care about the world, right? And like, unseen forms of abuse, like the stuff that people kind of generally just forget about. And every time I've been told that, it's just such a fucking insult because I don't want to be unique. Like, again, I care about the world. I care about the world. And I want something to be done. And I want to care. And I want to show that I want to demonstrate that it's okay to care. Like, it's truly okay to care radically about this world. That doesn't mean I don't fight daily to have any faith in humanity, because I do. I do have to fight. I do have to, like, convince myself. And I do have to, like, just fucking fight and just, like, adopt, like, the cliches of, like, faith and hope in order to make it through this. Because, people do severely disappoint me every single day. So it's an insult. It's an insult to be told that I'm unique and special and, like, better than people. Nonetheless, that was what I was told. Everyone should give a shit, though. So, this pattern of, like, isolating comments from the people around me made me feel alone and kind of crushed, because it's like, what do you mean I'm unique? And then, of course, nobody around me understood me at all for the longest time, and they still don't. They still don't. It's still a battle to connect with people, to truly, authentically connect with people. That's why I make this video. Like, that's why I'm making these videos, is because it's very, very hard for me to connect with people. I have so much to connect about, and I try, and I try, and I try. But ultimately, I feel like the only people who I'm truly going to be able to connect with at this rate are on the other side of the world. And so therefore, making a video and having a strong online presence is the only way to really make that happen. So after I'm alone, just feeling like severely disappointed and just fucking, quite honestly, isolated, there was one day where I basically just messaged everyone who I knew and sort of just told them that, I was gonna die soon. And the reason that I was gonna go die soon, like, I'm telling everybody this, is because we don't have an ethical method of land ownership. People are not allowed to just have easy access to land. And so what I'm going to do to protest this is go to, like, a public, like, park, like a national park type of area, right? Like a reserve, nature reserve. And just, like, settle on that land, just like as a protest, right? Because our modern system is fucked, right? But then why would I die? Why would I die if I do that? Well, because when the cops show up, I'm just gonna say nope, and just, like, maybe try to run, maybe try to fight them. So this is what I said to everyone. And by the way, my brain rehearsed this scenario quite a bit. Like the dying that way scenario. It's a really weird scenario, isn't it? And, I'll tell you right now, it is unhealthy thinking. It's unhealthy thinking, but I don't regret thinking it at all. In fact, it kind of makes sense. So it's unhealthy thinking, but it makes sense as someone in my position who's just, like, faced with injustice after injustice. By the way, it's been a few years since this, and it's still just injustice after another. I only went vegan a couple months ago, right? And that veganism, like when people become vegan, that in and of itself is enough to stir up a bit of a emotional and existential crisis. So that's why I would die. Is because I just say no. Like, kill me. You're a cop, you're participating in a corrupt system by enforcing this stupid law that human beings can't live. And like, why can we not just have land upon birth? Why is every individual not given land once they are born? And with that land, they can build a little house and build a little garden. What the fuck does real estate mean? It's a lifeless word. There's nothing to it. And I still believe this, by the way. So again, unhealthy thought at the time, right? But grounded in like a real frustration. And when I say real, I don't just mean that like my feelings are valid. That too, right? My feelings and other people's feelings regarding issues like this in society are valid. But it's also like a genuine criticism. And chances are, a lot of people will agree with me. It's such a hard conversation, even still, right? Even still, it's such a hard conversation to figure this shit out because it is so frustrating. So there we go. That's the story. I remember so many of like my friends at the time when I told them that, they were just like no. And then like I guess I don't know exactly what they said. So listen to me right now. I don't know exactly what they said. But what my brain feels like it remembers is them saying, no, you don't know you don't know what this makes me feel like. You don't know what this makes me feel like. Don't do this. What would I do? And it's like, motherfucker, it's my life, my choice. I could fucking die if I want to. And I can protest bullshit if I want to. And generally speaking, that's true, even still. I strongly believe that people should have the right and the control, the capability in their lives to withdraw support from corrupt systems at any time. That is not the case. Think about how crazy that is. There are corrupted systems that are rotten inside out. Everything from corrupt governments, which we all know about, that's the most famous example right now, all the way to smaller, more obscure things like supply chains. You know, all the little slave labor and all the little child labor and all the debt bondage that is found in supply chains. It's fucking everywhere. And so I strongly believe that people need to have the right to be like, nope. And so how do you do that? How do you translate that into an actionable step? How do you turn that crucial need, the people's dire need, into like an actionable step? Well, you try to build self-reliant communities. Not self-reliant to go off grid and escape the matrix, but self-reliant to be independent and be decentralized and to lead by example and to live by values and virtues. Everybody's dream is to build a village with their friends, except people like me we want to go the extra step further, and we actually want to try. It doesn't matter if I fail. It does not really matter if I fail in life. What matters is that I had a fucking conviction in my head, like a little voice that's like, hey, we probably should do this, otherwise, I'm just going to eat you alive. Like, I'm just going to, like eat away at your brain until you go crazy, right? Because you're ignoring the deepest, truest part of yourself. I'd rather do that than just, like, not take the risk. My friends, we have to do this. This is the generation of action. This is the era of just, like, fucking action. Like, it's time. Damn, they were so fucking concerned with themselves, weren't they? Those people that I messaged. So I guess the other part of that story is, like, I felt completely betrayed by everybody because they're all just making it about themselves. And of course, it was a little bit more complex than that. I don't remember entirely how it was. I don't remember the exact words. But you can tell how my brain might remember it. It's just like, well, fuck you too. And that was a complete nightmare. That time. And so shifting focus a little bit. Oh gosh. If there are estimates of 100,000 people, maybe it's 500,000 people, maybe I don't even fucking know. If there are hundreds of thousands of people in modern day slavery, so it's different from old slavery. It's modern day slavery, which is human trafficking and such. And there are thousands of children daily who are being exploited online. And there's just anybody on Earth who feels, left behind and alone and isolated and in complete darkness. How the hell do we have time for luxuries? Please ask yourself this. If these statements are true, how do we have time for luxuries? You're looking at someone who feels guilty for taking a shower. Like, think about that. I feel guilty for taking a shower because I know that there's somebody else in this world who's just fucking completely, like, dying right now and who's just, like, completely lost. And it's like, if I'm not doing something to, like, help that person, and, like, this is why I love the internet. Like, this is why I'm gravitated towards it. This is why I make content this way. This is why I'm just, like, drawn in to just, like, have a social media presence, essentially, and just, like, a grand internet project and presence, is because this is the way to connect with people. This is the way to connect with people. That's a separate conversation, but, like, that's the fact. It's just, like, the internet is the way to connect with people. So it's just like, if there's anybody who's just isolated, anybody who's like me, again, the video, is there anyone else like me? Like, I'm looking for people like me. So if there's someone else who's out there, who's just, like, maybe like me, but just kind of, like, depressed, like, more depressed, and just, like, ready to give up because they've seen factory farming and child exploitation and corrupt institutions and people making excuses for it all, and they're just like, nah, I'm out, like, I'm tapping out, and then they, like, want to kill themselves, right? Like, want to die, like remove themselves from life, like, kill themselves. Do you understand? I would like to find that person. And of course, that's just the people who I can, like, really connect with, right? Theoretically, I know they exist. There's 8 billion of us. I know they exist, right? As a simple, like, I don't know, almost like a rule of, like, mathematics, they would have to exist. I mean, think of anything that a human could possibly do, and it already exists, right? But, that's the people who I can really help. That's part of my work, right? But the other part of it is like there are children being exploited online. I saw this firsthand. In 2022. I saw I don't know how to explain it. A gigantic network of people who were just like, yeah, like let's just like exploit children. Like 24/7 for months upon months. And like obviously I like reported it to the FBI and every organization, and nothing happened, right? I mean, I'm sure some action was like taken with a couple like high risk like scenarios, but you know, it went on for so long, and I was just like, I went insane. Like I went genuinely insane. And I just like, it just like fucking completely changed my life. And like it was through that experience. And by the way, I need to elaborate on that, and like I know I will. I already have a little bit with like my Substack essay about some of this, but there's more to say. But long story short, that defined my life purpose, is to like end exploitation. I know it sounds bold. I know it sounds very, very ambitious and grandiose, but it's needed. I don't know what else to say. How can you not have a burning desire to end exploitation? My friends, this is our world. And it is being overrun with the most disgusting plagues imaginable. This is why I'm alive. This is why I haven't like died or checked the fuck out. Is because there's shit to do, my friends. And there's people in modern day slavery at a scale large enough for our brains just to completely shut down. Like I'm going to be honest with you, I cannot in this moment process hundreds of thousands of human beings in modern day slavery. I can't process that. That's why that's why I'm not crying, is because I can't process that. Of course, there's moments where I do start to process it. And then that's when I cry. That's when I lay face first on the pavement and fucking scream. And that's a true fucking story. I scream because of this shit. Is there anyone else like me? But yeah, like genuinely, what the fuck is going on? We have slavery at scale, thousands of kids being exploited a day, even nowadays. Don't ask me about the details. That is for another 10-hour long video. And there are people like us on a smaller scale, a much smaller scale than those last two, who are just like completely fucking isolated and just like completely fucking alone. And then if you want to like correlate that to something else, like on a larger scale, there's just like Americans and just like every young person who's just struggling right now, who's just like also fucking alone, but not necessarily highly aligned and like similar to you or me, of course, because like again, I'm trying to find people. I'm trying to find people who are like me in a way, who like at the very least like share my vision, and then share some of like my truest, deepest values, so that we can then start to build projects together and just like empower each other. Like genuinely, that's to the fucking point where I'm at now. It's like I'm ready to like connect. I'm even ready to connect in real life at this point, right? Because like with a project as big and as important as the one I want to bring into the world, like I don't know if we can wait anymore. But that also is a discussion for another time. I'm really excited with what I have. I'm excited with the projects and work that I've done. how the fuck is this happening? So yeah, I mean, like, even like my land ownership discussion, and then that, like, how the fuck do we have time for luxuries discussion? Like, those two things are like, hey, like, this signals me. You know, it's like this is the beacon that I'm putting out into the world. And like, those are some of the really big things. So yeah, you know, I love talking about things, and then of course nothing's ever gonna change, and it's just like, why the fuck am I making this fucking content? There's a reason. There's a reason. I know this is the right thing to do. It's to just keep making videos over and over again. Even if nobody watches them, by the way. I think I got 2 or 4 views maybe on my last video. I had made like a more difficult video, which is like an hour and a half, and it's just like just me talking, and it's just like I'm shooting myself in the foot here by like making these long fucking videos that nobody really cares about, nobody can sit through. At least in terms of the algorithm and stuff, but I believe that somebody like me will find my content maybe through searching for it or something, searching for certain keywords. It's an act of faith, for sure. Good God, is it an act of faith? Kind of a cliche, right? But it's a good cliche because, yeah, faith. So moving on. I have drawn from life a set of virtues that I live by now. And of course they're developing. But from society's mess of ideas and just bullshit, really. Some good shit, but some just generally insane bullshit. I have like a set of values and like morals now. And I want them to just ground me through whatever I do next. And also how I operate day to day life. So I'm not a hypocrite entirely, right? I'm a hypocrite sort of when I say like when I start giving advice and stuff. It's like, because, you know, I haven't even found anyone like me in fucking months and years, and it's really hard. I need people like me to empower me, is how it feels. I need people who really understand what is going on. So the main values that I have, that I try to encourage and talk about, are radical empathy, real and like dialectics based communication. Dialectics is like, from what I understand, it's just like 2 people are sort of like divine beings in a way who have something very, 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 very important to add to the discussion. By the way, this is how I'm a hypocrite in a way. Because I fucking, it's so hard to truly believe that. Because think about some of the dumb, fucking brain-rottingly idiotic shit that people say to you. And it's just like, how could they possibly in a billion years, like how could their conversation mean anything? And by the way, I understand, right? Because like fucking think about what I'm talking to you about. I'm talking to you about shit that nobody fucking pays attention to. At least if we're looking at society as a whole, like, nobody gives a fucking shit about factory farming. Nobody gives a singular shit about, like, not buying sugar because of slave labor or whatever. But these 2 people who are talking have perspectives. And the life overall perspective possessed by each person in the conversation is the important part. So even if they're saying the dumbest shit ever, basically there's a reason for it. And like, hopefully they're not actually saying the dumbest shit ever. Hopefully it's something with some kind of like ground to it. My mind is going to religious debates. And see, I said the word debates because it feels like a fucking war. Like, it just feels like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, this is insane. Like, can you fucking understand me? Is there any bone in your body that could just set aside the selfishness for like 3.5 seconds to like understand me? And it's like, that's how you feel when you try to like actually like communicate in a real way. But nonetheless, like, even in easier scenarios and easier conversations, I still see a lot of just like zoning out and tuning out and just like basically using fallacies. And by the way, it's so funny. There's just like on Wikipedia, there's just a full list of every fallacy. Just like every fallacy that like a human being can run into when having a conversation. Every single road bump that prevents effective communication. I'm just like, oh, that's really interesting. Well, if we have this fucking list, what the fuck are we doing then? Like, why are we still fucking up? You know? That's what you get with, like, humanity, though. So, yeah, real communication. Moving on with my values. I really value finding our role and purpose in both local and worldwide community. It's as simple as that. Like, I'm a person of purpose. There's some of us who can sort of get away with, you know, not really having like a life purpose to at least aspire to and hope for. I don't know how they can do it though. It's not me. Like, I need a sense of purpose. Do you understand? Like I've seen the good things in this world. I've seen them, and I'm just like, gotta protect them. You know, that's how it feels for me. But yeah, and then like, you know, finding your purpose locally and then fitting into the wider world. I believe in that as well. But of course, I also believe in ownership, like a real sense of ownership. Not only just the technical side of ownership, like I talked about earlier, just like fucking little plot of land at birth or some shit. Just like, you know, maybe like millionaires can't own multiple homes or whatever, that type of stuff. But then there's also just like feeling a sense of ownership over the earth itself, just like a sense of responsibility. It's just like, this is mine. And there's some culture, I don't know what culture it is, but basically their value, their virtue, their sort of shared understanding was that whatever decision they make, it has to consider 7 generations down the line. It's as simple as that. Anything you do, like, if it's not serving the next 7 generations, think about how fucking insane that is, by the way. 7 generations. If it's not serving 7 generations of people, then, like, it's fucking selfish, right? Like you know what I mean? Like you need to reconsider what you're doing. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to go ahead and steal that because that's perfect. My face is disappointed. You can't see it necessarily because of the mask, but kind of disappointed right now. Like, it's like well, now I'm smiling. I'm still smiling. Fucking disappointed that human beings are just like, nope, I want it now. I want it now. And I don't care, like, I don't care if the technology is gonna like cause harm because it's not like properly balanced. And I don't care if like my sugar is gonna cause like indirect harm to like somebody who's like held in debt bondage through a corrupt organization that thrives on the neglect of consumers. I don't care. I want it now. I want it now. Right? Yeah. I also believe in reducing the amount of harm that we cause to the world, of course, directly, which is actually kind of hard for me, and also indirectly, which is a little bit easier for me. So directly is just like when you say some mean shit to people, or when you like, you know, cause harm to someone. A lot of the direct harms sort of have to do with people interactions. Like, you know, if you accidentally hurt somebody, if you accidentally fucking maybe like run their foot over with a lawnmower or something like that, you know what I mean? The indirect actions are part of my worldview. They're part of my understanding of life. Is like the shit that people forget about. Like, if you support factory farming with your tax dollars, not your tax dollars, just your dollars. Like, the indirect harms are truly limitless. Like, that's why I'm a little bit wordless, lost for words right now, is because, like, oh yeah, like, I just named some examples, but also, like, just fucking whatever you can think of. Like, don't you already know the examples? You fucking idiot. That's genuinely how I think about people sometimes. By the way, if you met me in person, like, I would kind of come across as, like, a little bit sweet, I think. Like, kind of nice and polite. But, like, I secretly think you're a fucking idiot and an asshole because of the indirect harm you cause. But I can set that aside when we're having a conversation, genuinely, as well. So, you know, I genuinely do care about people. Otherwise, again, if I didn't genuinely care about people and have faith in them, which is very hard sometimes, then I wouldn't even fucking do this. I wouldn't even be here, bro. You know what I mean? And it may sound kind of harsh, but by the way, I don't think, like, individual people necessarily are fucking idiots, necessarily. Like, I definitely do feel like that sometimes. Actually, a lot of the time, but not all the time. It's a little bit more complex than that, you know? I just wish you fucking cared. Like, nobody's gonna watch this. And even if they do, like, they're just not gonna fucking care. It's like I have, basically from my perspective, it's like I have reason to believe that everybody who could ever watch this video, if they're not highly aligned with me, then they're just basically okay with abuse. Maybe that's where, like, the dialectic comes in, and it's like, what's your perspective? Tell me your perspective. Tell me everything. Tell me your truest, deepest perspective on life and why you do these things, why you support indirect harm. And I will look at you in the eyes and explain to you why you are wrong. That's how it feels. And by the way, that probably, like, triggered you a little bit. I said that, like, on purpose that way because that's not right. You're not supposed to listen to somebody talk genuinely about something they really truly care about and then just, like, sit there waiting for what you're gonna say, you know? That's very selfish. So, moving on a little bit, but still in the same value. It's just like, avoid causing indirect harm. I think we can do this through just making sacrifices. Just like making some comfort sacrifices. Like, how hard is that? Just, like, sacrifice some of the things that you find comfortable. Well, apparently it's really hard. And yes, I do want to understand why. I want to understand why it's so hard for you to just, like, stop eating sugar for, like, 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Because I want to understand. But I also want to look at you. And this is the problem, right? This is the exact problem. I want to say you are wrong. Thanks for telling me. I'll consider that. But, like, you are wrong. You're a dumbass who is just making excuses and just, like, shut the fuck up and just, like, let's take some fucking action finally and make this nightmare of indirect consequences end. Like, that's what I want to say, right? Which is obviously very problematic. Wow, I think this video is problematic. Why can't we just, like, make some sacrifices? And I also believe in sacrifice as just sort of a concept where it's like, you know, it's Christ-like. Like, that's what we're taught in Christianity, is just sacrifice your comforts. And then just sort of, like, take on the weight of just, like, the world's messes. And that's how I've sought to live. Why can't you? So moving on with my values. I also value, like, having a healthy society through parallel systems, essentially. I just feel like, and I don't know if that's as much of a value as much as it is a method of sorts. But I just believe in, like, just sort of building a sort of infrastructure of revolution. An infrastructure of revolution. Building the systems in our hearts and in our minds and in our local communities and in our governments and institutions that mean something, that last, that revolt against the normalization of abuse. I guess the last thing on my list of values, it feels weird to, like, list them all like this, you know what I mean? It's just like, but I do try to write about them and talk about them frequently, and of course live by them. And, like, it's an expanding list, it's a changing list. It's like, let's work on it together, let's understand things together. But I guess last on this list is prioritizing the most vulnerable and exploited and isolated among us through our work. And actually, I guess that's an interesting way to think about it. Is like, so we have, like, the most exploited among us, which is that huge class of people in modern day slavery. That's like the 500,000 one. And then there's the most vulnerable among us, which is, like, the kids daily being exploited. So, like, they're just kids, right? Like, they're vulnerable. They could never be blamed for anything because they are children, right? So they, like, fundamentally, it is a non-negotiable, like, like, and this is the funny thing with my language, is, like, I know how things should be. Like, I fucking have ideas on how shit should be, right? Everybody does. Like, fucking everybody does. Everybody has some shit to say, right? But, you know, we have to take care of kids. Like, 1,000,000%. Like, everybody's gonna agree on that. So vulnerable is, like, I guess that smaller, I don't even know if it's a smaller group, but it's basically, to me, it represents just the group of kids who I can see as an absolute fact are being exploited online just through my very limited, like, tech-savvy knowledge about what's going on the internet. I'm not a fucking idiot, right? I grew up on the internet. I know what the fuck is going on. Somehow better than parents, which is a crime against humanity in and of itself, that I know better than parents. Of course, I have to use that responsibility for good, which is also what I'm doing. I have plenty of projects for that, including, like, a letter for parents that I've been trying to share with them. But then, of course, going down this pyramid, we have the most isolated among us, which I conceptualize, and I'm developing this new concept, like, alongside you right now as we're making this video. But that's the group of people who are just like me, who are pretty much just like me, who are just like, oh my god, is there anybody else like me? Please, I hope. Like, and maybe even people who are at their wits' end, They're one spoon away from just saying, nope, like, I'm good. And just, like, leaving life or some shit like that. And the reason I say that is because that's how I think from time to time. And that builds up inside me even as I'm talking right now. It's like, guess what? That's also a battle I have to fight. And that's not surprising to say, because it's sort of a battle that we all have to fight, which is very tragic. Which, of course, circles back into, like, sort of another conversation of, like, well, there's a lot of young people right now who are struggling. I have a video script right here. It says, that I haven't made yet. It says, message to young people struggling. So, yeah. I care about that, too. It's like, this is what I recognize in the world. It's like, I'm just trying to fucking care. I'm trying to fucking show that we can give a shit. It's okay to give a shit. Oh my god. I've almost been shamed out of giving a shit, like, quite a lot in life. It's just, fuck. God damn it. I have a bonus value, essentially, and that is, I think of it more as like a shared cultural practice, like a shared sort of ritual, and that is turning off our lights at night, which is funny because I have a light and it's nighttime, but turning off our lights at night so that we can see the Milky Way again. Light pollution. Light pollution, right, is when you have sorry, I distracted myself because I just turned off the light. But it's when you turn on a light, an artificial light, and it sends photons into the air, and then it obstructs our view of the Milky Way. It's very simple. It's as simple as that. That's why in New York, you can't see more than 50 stars, and that's why in the middle of nowhere, you can see, quite often, the Milky Way, which most of us have seen it, but I know people that have never seen it. And to me, that is another tragedy of life. And I know we're getting into another discussion here in a way. By the way, if I found someone who agrees with me on everything that I've said prior, and who agrees with me on this, like, I win. You know what I mean? Like, that's the fucking person I want to find. That's the friend that I'm looking for with this video. Light pollution is not the worst problem in our society, but to me it is the most metaphorical. As in, it represents all the other problems. Because it's like, man gets carried away with productivity. He builds lights and great institutions that serve him and only him. And then, in the process, he forgets about the most beautiful thing ever known to mankind. But what could one measly person do against such a huge problem? What the fuck are we gonna do? Just turn off all the lights? Like, what are you gonna do? Just, like, turn off lights at a hospital? Like, no, we're not gonna do that. That's called a thought-terminating cliche. Right? It's like, no, we're not gonna fucking turn off all the lights. We're just gonna try. And speaking of trying, I turned on the light again because right now I'm following the 5 principles of responsible outdoor lighting. And those are, make it temporary. Don't have it on throughout the whole night. Have it sort of dim. Have it sort of directed so that, it's not sending up useless light into the atmosphere that, sort of causes light pollution. Which, by the way, I don't want to get into the details of light pollution. I don't want to convince you that it exists. It exists. There's a Wikipedia page about it, right? You know, I'm gonna leave that one to you. Like, I'm gonna absolve, relieve myself of some responsibility on that front, and I'm just gonna let you be an adult and like figure that one out on your own. Like, yes, it's real. Every problem I've spoken about so far is real. But anyway, there's some other principles. They're not really coming to my head right now, but directed, dim, warm colored. Point is, my friends, there's an organization dedicated to everything, and they can teach us how to be responsible in life. And so that's what I do, is I listen to people online who are very, very skilled in caring about things. How do you think I know the responsible outdoor lighting practices that, if adopted by everybody, would allow us to see the Milky Way and not forget about it? And our children could see the Milky Way, which some of us could think of as the most beautiful thing that could ever be seen by humans, just because of how grandiose it is. And obviously the fact that we are looking at a galaxy, and the fuller picture of it is revealed fuller and fuller in darker and darker environments, as in less light polluted environments. So that's the light pollution talk. I can have the light on right now because it follows the responsible lighting principles. Of course, there's a little part of my being that's like, no, just don't fucking do it anyway, right? It's unnecessary. But that part of my being is fighting with the other part of my brain that's like, well, we want to make this video, right? Like, we want to connect with people. We want to, like, ignite a revolution. So it's like, what's the trade-off? Like, what's the cost-benefit analysis? That is how I think about things. And that cycle goes on 24/7, usually. So what we just went over were my values. Just my values, broadly. So we're moving on a little bit. My friends, I want to build things. Like, I want to build things. I'm very ambitious in my soul. I want to build, the basic dream that everybody has. Like, literally 100% of people, like, want this. And that is a homestead with a garden, We think of, like, just having, like, a peaceful little cabin in the woods, like, those kinds of cliches. I mean, I want that, to, like, obviously, like, with some more nuance and, like, to a different extent, and, like, I also want a village with my friends. I'm working on this. I'm working on all of these things. But that's sort of the difference, right? It's like, I'm working on these things. I'm taking action. It is no longer the time to just, like, sit in a room depressed. Fuck's sake. Everybody's depressed. It's like from my perspective, it just feels like reaching into a swamp. like just wearing, like, a perfectly clean, like, tuxedo and just, like, reaching into a swamp to grab somebody. It's just like they're so fucking stuck. They're just all tangled up. I am working to do it. Like, this is the time of action. But I know how depressed people are. I know how, like, I don't know. I almost think that people are just stuck in their little schedule, that they feel like they can never leave. Otherwise, like, my stability is threatened, and it's just. And guess what? I'm working to fix that too. I'm literally working on all of these things. This isn't just like some side project. This isn't just like me talking about the problems of our time. It's like this is my life purpose. I repeat that. This is my life purpose, to talk about these things. I want this to be done. And I'm working to build this, and I'm making more and more videos. And change will happen, I assure you that. I mean, we can only go at this for so long, just being hopeless and just sort of being pushed down. Everybody I talk to is disappointed with the government. Everybody I talk to is disappointed with life. They're disappointed with life. A change is needed, for sure. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep trying, and just like, I just want to quickly encourage that. It's just like, try, just like, this is the era of action. We're not gonna overthink this. We're gonna try shit, and we're gonna take some risks, because we are brave and intelligent people, and we need to get our priorities straight. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I have made genuine sacrifices and real change so as not to partake in corrupt systems. And of course, I've encouraged something new to be built, and I still am. It's an ongoing process. It's my life purpose, not my weekly purpose, or not my college assignment or whatever. Just my life purpose, right? I saw that the world is a very material place, as in a physical place where everything matters. You touch things, and yeah, everybody agrees with this. Nearly 100% of people believe this. It's the world's a material place, of course. So what the fuck am I trying to say here? Well, it's a material place with lots of indirect consequences that reach far beyond anything that you can comprehend. Supply chain issues, modern day slavery. Right? That's sort of what I mean, is the unforgotten aspect of that very widely understood concept. I have gone on a grand adventure of sorts. Seriously, quite literally, a grand adventure to find like-minded people. I have done work for no pay whatsoever, that is focused on minimizing harm. And, there's enough harm in the world, so I should just try to minimize it. And that's what I do. And I don't get paid for it yet. I do sort of get compensated for it in a lot of ways. And, that's also in a way that's also part of my intentions here, is to just try to reshape careers in a little bit, or just add to the list a new type of career that we can embark on. And that would be someone who just really fucking cares, and who actually makes real shit to put into the world. I think I have a video about that I was gonna make soon. Wow, I don't want to make this video just start talking about something and then oh, I'm gonna make a video about that soon, so I'm not gonna elaborate on that. No, I mean, there's plenty of good shit in this video already. But yeah, I mean, I've cut out things from my life, small things and big things, that contribute to the system, right? It's a boogeyman word. It's what is the system? Well, it's whatever we feel doesn't represent us. It's whatever organized body of, whether a company or a government agency that doesn't quite represent our best interests. It doesn't represent us as an individual, at the very least. And the system, it goes way deeper and way more corrupt than that. I don't even think I could physically possibly begin to tell you how corrupted it could go. I don't care, right? I have the capability to withdraw support, so that's what I'm doing. period, right? Is like, I don't need to learn the ins and outs of like how the government is corrupt. Like, I don't need to watch like a 24-hour essay on it. Although I might, but I don't need to. I'm just going to withdraw support, right? It's like, it's the little conviction, it's the little voice in your head that's like, hey, like, we have reason to believe that this is kind of wrong. So something needs to be done. Like, some kind of action needs to be taken. Like, hello, you know, those values that you have in life, those virtues, like, hello, like, what are you going to do? Just fucking ignore them? And some people do ignore them. Some people have, like, genuine values that sort of get bogged down under, like, this just oppressive weight of the world, which makes sense. I mean, you know, I've had moments like that too, but how do I politely tell you that I am pissed off beyond belief and you are incorrect about that notion and we need to start fucking doing shit? My friends, it makes sense that we are overwhelmed. It makes sense. With my content, I just want to be very, very critical of these things. And I do want to encourage a peaceful revolution. So yeah, I've cut out things that contribute to the system. I've traveled to find communities and environments that are aligned with my true values. This is real things that I've done. And I've written publicly to feel less alone. Because like I said, I feel like maybe the most aligned people are on the other side of the world or the country. And I'm going to find you, by the way. Not like literally in person. You know, obviously I would love if we met up and, like, you know, worked on projects and stuff together and saw how and explored that option. But no, I'm just going to find you, like, spiritually and through content. Like, that's my goal right now in a lot of ways. I want people who are aligned with my values to go with me, like, go alongside me and me alongside them. And then from there, we can empower each other. Like, we can uplift each other. We can hold each other to, like, a minimum standard and then just, like, push and push and push and just, it would be so much easier to just not fall into depression if you had someone alongside you who believed in things with you, who had a life purpose, who understood you. It's so impossible. But, like, if there's any use for the fucking internet, like, think about the internet, right? If there's any use for it on Earth, it's this. It's to find like-minded people. I don't have a lot of friends. I just realized, like, I don't have a lot of friends right now. Maybe it's because of that one moment where I was just like I said earlier, I was just telling everybody that I'm going to die soon. And then, you know, I saw how selfish they kind of were. It's just like, I want us to empower each other. And I believe we should build things online, which is what I do. And then also build things in real life. And then just, like, build our lives and just build, as I say, the infrastructure for revolution. So I want people to go alongside me. If you have the conviction to, please use this as a sort of, like, calling. Like, use this as an excuse to get going, to get the steam rolling. If there's that little voice in your head that's like, yes, like, this is starting to resonate with me. Whatever group you fit into, or whether or not you're super aligned with me or whatever, like, I still want to connect and I still want to hear your story and I still want to understand you. The cool thing about my social media presence is there's more opportunity to sort of have good conversations with people without it sort of sucking me into anger. Because, of course, I can be vulnerable here through the camera, and then sometimes people will comment, and it's like very thoughtful, right? So it encourages very good communication. And so it doesn't get us sucked into like that negative side of things as much. But of course, conversation is an intense practice in and of itself. Like it's not only a skill, it's just like it's a spiritual skill. And it's so much more than what people currently think it is. But yeah, no matter what you are, I want to hear from you. Either through comments or through email, even, right? I try to make myself available online because I want to have conversations about these things. We could even have a conversation over voice chat. Like genuinely, like, again, this is not a normal channel. This is different than what you've been seeing, probably. It's a miracle if you watched all the way through this, anyway. But again, I want you to talk to me. Like, seriously. I usually read every message, every comment. And I usually read them twice, just out of good faith. Just like I really want to understand you and hear you. But if you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. At the very least, just go into the world and do something to turn this society in the right direction. Because this is the era of action, I believe. So is there anyone else like me, I wonder? I also have like a Discord. Just a Discord. It's not the best medium at all. It's not the best way to connect. But it's a Discord. It's something. It's like, I think of it as sort of a first step. Something to exist. Again, the infrastructure. It is a little bit of infrastructure to put into the online world to begin connecting with people. So there's that. Should be pretty close to this video, maybe on my profile. Just a server for finding like-minded people. You don't have to join that. I'm just saying, like, I don't care, right? I don't care. If your conviction doesn't demand it of you, then don't, right? Is there anyone else like me? I really do wonder sometimes. I know there's people generally like me in a lot of ways. Sorta. But is there anyone who truly understands? Who might be aligned with my vision? Who maybe we could build something great with? I ask myself every day. My friends, the power for change is ours, though. Like, it's ours. Like, a revolution is coming. I can just feel it. And it doesn't have to be violent. So, here's to celebrating that. So thank you for watching this. And, yeah, that's the end. I'm happy with this one. I'm happy with this. Yeah. Guess I'll end the video now. Thank you for watching.